Hi, hello, namaste. Welcome back to Needs of Children. We are discussing about 8th Standard English Medium Social Science, in that Political Science, Chapter number 3, Human Rights. Let's come to the what are the very important learning points from this chapter. In this chapter, you learn the meaning of human rights and its development. The Declaration of Human Rights, Human Rights and Indian Constitution, ways of implementing human rights. These are the very important learning points from the lesson Human Rights. Let's come to the what is the introduction for this lesson. The concept of human rights has developed along with the growth of civilization. We have learned about the civilization, even many civilizations of the world, even Indian civilization, we get the information. Even the concept of human rights, it has developed along with the growth of civilization. This is essential for the peaceful living, coexistence and development of human beings. Human rights are building blocks of democracy. For democracy, they are considered as the building blocks. Renewed political thinker like H.J. Laski declares that a nation can be identified through its human rights. A nation can be identified through its human rights. Like that, the importance of human rights has been expressed by H.J. Laski. Human rights enable everyone to lead a life of dignity. This ensures the development of better society. That is the reason UNO has declared the human rights, has said it is the duty of state to protect the human rights. Hence, the UNO has declared the human rights and has said it is the duty of the state to protect the human rights. Let's come to the meaning of human rights. Human rights are essential for every human being to lead a life of dignity. Any person to lead a life of dignity, human rights are very essential. Human rights are conducive to universal development of human beings. The development of human rights, we are going to be identified. The roots of human rights are traced to Athens and Sparta. So these are the very important two city-states of ancient Greeks. In the discussion of Plato, Aristotle and Socrates and the relationship between the state and the individual, human rights are discussed. So as the Greek civilization, we get the information about the two important city-states like Athens and Sparta. Ancient Greek thinkers like Plato, Aristotle and Socrates. The relationship between the state and the individual, even they are highlighted about the human rights. Even further, the developments of human rights, Magna Carta or the Great Agreement is the base for the English Constitution. As we are going to study about the English Constitution, Magna Carta or the Great Agreement. Magna Carta means it is considered as the Great Agreement, is the base for English Constitution. During 1215 CE, the King John of England broke many ancient rules and traditions. People revolted against the king, pressing for their rights. As a result, the king entered into an agreement and signed Magna Carta. So this is the concept of Magna Carta, how and why it is introduced. In the year 1215 CE, the King John of England He broke many ancient rules and traditions. The people revolted against the king, pressing for their rights. As a result of this, king entered into an agreement and signed it is called as Magna Carta. Due to this, the government's interference in the church came to an end. Even the citizens gained the rights to have private and ancestral property. The equality of all in front of law was asserted. In this way, the Magna Carta is an important development in the process of modern democracy. So these are the very important developmental aspects in British Constitution, the introduction of the Magna Carta. When John Locke presented the first systematic discussion of human rights, natural rights. According to him, the basic rights cannot be given any individual. So according to him, the basic rights, human rights are considered as the natural rights. Basic rights cannot be given any individual. Every individual is born with the rights of living and freedom. This gave prominence to individual rights. That is the very important concept has been given by John Locke. The bloodless revolution of 1688 worked in support to this. When the bloodless revolution, it is happened in the year 1688, majorly it is worked for the human rights. And as a result of, in the year 1689, Bill of Rights was implemented. With this, human rights were given legislative guarantee for the first time. 1689, Bill of Rights was implemented. With this, human rights were given legislative guarantee for the first time. Even further, if you are going to be study like revolutions took place in America and France due to the influence of John Locke, Rousseau and Montesquieu. When the American independence was declared in the year 1787, the list of human rights were declared on December 15, 1791 and included in the American Constitution as the first amendment to the American Constitution. So these revolutions, especially in America as well as France, majorly those who are people behind these revolutions, John Locke, Rousseau and Montesquieu. The very important highlighting point was that implement the human rights, providing the human rights to all the citizens. That is the reason American War of Independence was declared in the year 1787. In that declaration of independence, American independence, the list of human rights were declared on December 15, 1791 and included in the American Constitution, and it is considered as the first amendment to the American Constitution. As we get the information about the Human Rights Declaration in France in the year 1789, is a very important milestone in the history of human rights. Because with this, the dictatorship of France was removed and French Republic came into existence in the France. This declaration assured equal rights to all with respect to the very important outcomes of the French Revolution. They are freedom, equality, property and security. And these are the wonderful lesson taught to the world with the French Revolution. In this way, the development of human rights is not restricted to any single geographical area and it is universal in appeal. The League of Nations that came into existence after the First World War had a separate Directive on Human Rights. As we get the information about the First World War, after the First World War, a separate directive on human rights came into existence, that is under the leadership of the League of Nations. But after the Second World War, in order to protect the human rights and with the effort of Stalin, Roosevelt and Churchill, the United Nations organizations came into existed. UNO came into existed, especially Stalin is from Russia, Roosevelt is from America, Churchill from Britain. So these three very important personalities after the Second World War, they work very hard for the existence of United Nations. UNO came into existence. By introduction of UNO, the preamble of UNO declares, we the people of world have decided to protect our future generation from the destruction of wars. So this is the very important concept adapted by UNO. It is begins with the preamble of UNO declares, we the people of the world have decided to protect our future generation from the destruction of wars. War has driven us to sadness twice in our life because of till now the two world wars had happened. It has driven our sadness twice. Hence, the establishment of UNO is to prevent human rights violations in any part of the world. So, in order to achieve this, the UNO directed all its members. In order to achieve this, the UNO directed all its member countries to protect the human rights compulsorily. That is the reason the human rights were implemented declared on December 10th, 1948. And it is become as one of the very important milestone in the history of the world. So that is the development of human rights. That's it about today's session. I hope you have understood till now what we are discussed. If you have any doubts related to till now what we are discussed, you can comment in the comment box. I will solve your doubts and I will come back with the next video. Until, keep watching my channel. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you in the next session. Bye bye. Take care.